This is going to be this is what we do normally. By the way, that is not Alex. That's Allie Thomas in Alex's seat. Alex is downstairs. She is taking notes on today's show. So that's a thing. I have to go over. I'm doing my thing where I go over to the old the Rumble, and I have to hit the buttons on the Rumble here because why would Rumble be convenient? Obviously. Rumble's not convenient. We're also waiting for Steve. Steve's having technical problems. Steve Gruber, fantastic radio host, Steve Gruber. But he's too. See, I said he was too high tech when we were talking with his people earlier. This is why would Rumble be convenient? What is happening? Why am I hearing things?
I don't know.
Steve's having technical problems. Steve Gruber, is that your phone?
It might be my phone.
Turn your phone off.
I'm trying.
Why is this difficult?
I don't know.
This is why we don't have in-studio guests, by the way. And,
although the last time I was on your show, I had problems, technical problems.
Well, it sounds like more of a personal problem than a technical problem when it comes down to it. Welcome to my house, by the way. Welcome to the Casa del Tim and Alex, which is basically just my hoarding hole for things. Let's check in on Steve. There he is. All right. I just want to keep doing that. Can we just keep checking in on Steve? I'm not offended by this, by the way. Steve Gruber is one of the most professional people in radio and an incredibly kind person. You didn't make a fucking promo video. He made a promo video saying that he was excited to be on here with a graphic with not just any graphic. He made a graphic that had a headshot of me from like 2004. All right. I was fresh faced. This fucking guy's team. Let me tell you about Steve Gruber. This is how professional Steve Gruber is. He, number one, look at the studio. Fantastic. There he is right there, joining us live, Steve Gruber. I kind of want to keep that as a picture and just be like, this is going to be, I feel like this could be a running joke. I'm just going to screen grab that and be like, where's Steve?
You should also make it so that you can put like a cartoon character of Steven.
No, too much. I just like having the empty chair. I think it's fun. It's got to be dry. Cartoon characters too colorful. But he made a graphic with me of my beautiful baby face from a photo shoot I did in New York City as a stand-up comic in like 2004, maybe 20 years ago. Yeah, 21 years ago. This beautiful. I am not that anymore.
So you're telling me to step up my game next time I'm on the show? You
should be grateful that you're here.
I am. It's my pleasure.
You by the way, you got a nice tour of our hoarding hole, which is what I call it. You got to see all the collectibles, and it's a delightful time here.
It's perfect.
And behind me, you probably aren't familiar. I have about 18 of these signed Christy Yamaguchi plates. I've cornered the market on Christy Yamaguchi plates, and
Should we talk about that?
Well, I'm investing in the future, and you don't understand. You know, a lot of people put their money into digital currency and stocks. Not me. Christy Yamaguchi plates. Hello, keyboard warrior. Let's go. Hello, from Sydney, Australia. Vero Flores. Hello. Let's go here. What do we got? We need to Epstein list like yesterday. No shit. No shit. Good evening, everyone. Release the Epstein list. Yes, if you want the Epstein list released, you should say something in the chat. Here's Steve Gruber, by the way. Steve, do we have you?
You got me.
Oh my God. This guy did it.
I just want to take a ball bat to it, Tim. I hate this.
Well, I never go with tech stuff either. Everyone, Allie, have you hit the retweet button?
I have not. I tried to do it.
Mr. Gruber, has your team? I know that you have you have a fantastic team over there.
I do. I'm very good with this.
I was singing your praises before you showed up.
He basically told me to step up my game.
Yeah, because you made a graphic of me and you did a video. Nobody does that.
Well, I did that. I mean, nobody. I'm somebody. I'm not nobody.
You're a big deal, and you've got your staff over there. You got your slaves, your child slaves in the back that are making graphics for people. When Gruber says he wants a graphic, Gruber, do you refer to yourself in third person as Gruber? I would. That's a cool name.
Yeah, I'm the bad guy from Die Hard, right?
Yes, Hans Gruber.
That's right.
Distant cousin. Let's talk about things. I want to get into things. So, Allie, what exactly do you do? Crisis communications for people.
Corporate crisis management, yeah.
By the way, Allie came to town. I didn't realize she was going to be on the show today, Gruber. I thought it was just going to be us, but
that's all right. I mean, she classes the place up a little bit.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the random stranger in the grassy knoll that you could come up to and ask me questions about to save the taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I want to. Yeah, I don't know.
Wait a second. She's armed.
Are you? Are you armed?
Not currently.
Oh, we got guns all over this place, by the way. If you need a gun,
Until that unfortunate boating accident into the Atlantic Ocean.
we got guns everywhere. By the way, Steve, I don't know if you knew this or not. I've been very upset about and I want to talk about this because apparently now I got a tweet someone sent me earlier that the Epstein, the DOJ is delaying, and this is from someone I have blocked, leading report. Yeah, well, who knew I have blocked? I must have done something. So I'll just do it this way. He's saying here, Patrick Webb. Look at that. That's a good camera. The DOJ is says they're going to delay the release of the Epstein client list, JFK, RFK, and MLK files.
Why?
Why do you think that is? You think it's just because they have to sift through so many to make sure there's not, how dare I say, innocent people on those lists?
How old would you have to be to still be alive?
Well, there's a 93-year-old that died the other day.
Right. So you know, you'd have to be in your 90s to still have any connection to this thing. How deep does that dirtiness run? Or is it the cover up after the fact? Have they been covering up for so many years? Other people have their fingers all over this dirty. And didn't they come up with like 2,400 other pages?
In 2018.
When she went and looked, right? She said there's 2,400 pages we didn't know about.
Yeah.
So what are those? You know, I mean, you look. I mean, you got the Bush family connected in there, right? Former director of the CIA, George H.W. Bush. You've got different people. It's not just the 22nd of November. It's generational potentially, right? Different families that knew things about this that if it was disclosed now that these powerful families knew, might not play so well at the top of the show, right?
Yeah,
people
truly.
might go, hey, what the hell?
Truly. What to say here? Would be too shocking for the public. Yeah, that's what they're probably saying. This is the one that I can't get enough of this, and I've been talking about this for days now, and somebody said I need to let it go, but I'm not going to let it go. Here's the where did I pile that tweet in? There we go. Put the front here. I produce I don't have a team like you. I'm not Big Money Steve. I don't have a big team. I just
You've got an armed woman on the show with me. I mean,
I have two armed women as well. So I couldn't get enough of this because this is Anna Paulina Luna the other day. I don't care about this whole task force thing. I don't care. I don't think a GOP task force has produced anything. You used to work with some Congress people, Allie. Has a GOP task force ever produced anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Steve, you're a media pro, and it's GOP task force ever come up with anything?
Hookers and whiskey, I think, last time I saw that, you know, or maybe that was the Secret Service.
Fund.
Yeah, and a slush fund. They've got that going. Look, when you've got the staff, when the principal gets paid $170,000, but they get $500,000 in expenses, you know.
Well, yeah, that's so my thing. So like the task force number one, that's not going to come up with anything. But the other side of this is they're going to visit the site. They're going to do a site visit in Dallas. So I went down today.
I saw that,
and I did a little look around. I look very puffy there, and I just wanted to tell you, I brought some findings back for you guys. I wanted to share with the team here because I think so,
she wanted to be the person on the grassy knoll. I'll just be an observer there. I'll be the Zapruder guy. What'd you find? I mean, I saw you down there saying, "Look, I'll save them $200,000. Don't come here. What do you want to know?" I saw that.
Well, I took the tour. All right, I paid the $25 for the tour. Oh. So can you see me right now, or do you have a? I can. Okay, there you go.
What's it say?
That's the ticket for the tour. All right, so that was $25. All right, that was the I did that. So I took that tour. What's important is that they have a Texas School Book Depository tote bag that you can buy, that you can get on the way out. And if you see, the window's open.
This is so
where they shot Kennedy right there. So
really?
This is. I'd like to add this to the congressional record as evidence of what happened, the tote bag. And
without objection.
Without objection, yeah. And then look, I know I didn't think that was fancy enough, and so I bought the ornament because are they going to make a Butler Pennsylvania ornament?
I hope not.
God, I hope not.
Look, they made it. I got a question about the Kennedy thing. Can I ask a couple questions?
Yeah.
Look,
I'm the expert now. I was there.
Well, right, you were there. You should be on the next commission. Look, I've hunted my entire life, hunted all over the world, had that great blessing to be all over the world with a variety of pretty good rifles. I didn't have a $29 Italian rifle like he had, but I've never seen a body act the way Kennedy's body would act if he's actually being shot from behind. His head goes this way. I'm sorry. I'm not real good with math. I'm not that bright. His head goes backwards. It does not go
And to the left.
forwards. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't be back here and have his head go back. The math doesn't, physics, right? It's
Yes.
physics. It doesn't work that way. Am I
Well-
wrong? Am I a conspiracy theorist? Please tell me.
Well, I can tell from this tote bag, Steve, that you are, because the shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6. That's the 6th. This is all you need. So my question is, you're right, by the way, and I totally agree with you on that. But what is the point of a congressional field trip other than to spend? It just so happens I'm no pro here. Now, Allie again worked with some Congress people and did the whole thing, and you guys can weigh in on this. Just so happens, this Dallas area, we have a lot of big donors here.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to come visit a big donor, I could find a way to get a free trip. Bring them to
baby drill.
Bring them to a soiree. Have a couple of cocktails, get a couple of some of the horse divorce. There's some good horse divorce, and you could take a nice tour. You could probably shut down the old museum and have a little get together. 7th floor is great for conferences.
Don't they have this thing in Texas called oil? And people that work in oil have tremendous amounts of money. And when the price of gasoline goes up, they have even more money. Yeah, I think you could probably find a way to get down there and not charge the American taxpayer.
Wow.
Pretty simple. I mean, even Kamala Harris found her way to Texas during the election a couple of times. Why? Because there's a lot of money there, right?
A lot of money.
Yeah.
So by the time they're done with that, and by the way, it's wrong for me. I was told by about 1% of people who didn't like that I went after Anna Paulina, who announced that field trip, that it's wrong for me to question Republicans when it comes to this. But it just seems like by the time we're done with staff and the trip itself and hotels and we're talking probably, I think 200 is conservative. I think we're talking $300,000, $400,000.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you've got security, you've got meals, you've got transportation, you've got hotel rooms, you've got all of that. Come on now. And they're not, my guess is they're not taking the free breakfast at the Microtel. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to guess that they're going out eating someplace. They're not taking the free breakfast. Am I crazy?
There's a very good barbecue place down the street from there that I always forget the name of.
Must be pretty good.
The La Quinta, let me tell you something. The La Quintas, you can make a Texas-shaped waffle. The waffle, and I think that's what they're here for.
I heard that your breakfast burritos from gas stations are excellent.
That's more of an Austin thing.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't want DFW breakfast burritos are just, you're asking for it when it comes to it.
I was banned from gas station food immediately after meeting my wife, Ivy. She said, no, you're not eating gas station food anymore. I'm prohibited.
If it's not a Buc-ee's, I don't eat at the gas station.
Yeah. Buc-ee's is different though. I mean, it's like an amusement park.
Correct. We're going to Buc-ee's after this, actually. Allie came to town. There's a Buc-ee's just above your head. Sitting just over your head is a Buc-ee's bobblehead.
That's perfect.
We don't
I
have
might
one.
take that with me.
Where are you located, Steve?
Michigan, between Detroit and Lansing. We don't have Buc-ee's. Not one.
No.
We don't have a Waffle House. I mean, talk about culturally devoid. It's terrible.
Oh, hold on. So hold on. Now it says that the somebody's watching Fox right now. I don't know why you do that. But Pam Bondi's going to release the Epstein information tomorrow, apparently, according to what she just said on Fox.
When?
Who knew?
Perfect.
So
When? We need to run a clock on that.
yeah, I
When?
know. Well, I mean, listen, Steve, it's coming.
So here's my theory on this, and I've talked about this a little bit lately. I think that the Epstein list is probably pretty damning, but I think the P. Diddy list is worse.
Oh, it's going to be.
I think the P. Diddy list is going to be multiples worse. And I'm looking for the people that appear on both lists. Those are the people I want to find. The people that show up on both lists. Super
What do you
double
think?
bonus.
You got any picks of who's going to be on both? Jay-Z? You think Jay-Z's going to be on both?
Yeah, probably.
Dershowitz?
Beyonce.
Oh, yeah. You got to thank
She's on
Beyonce.
one.
I went to
Jennifer. How about Jennifer Lopez? She on one or both? I mean,
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. Bill Clinton. If I'm Clinton, I'm showing up to everything.
He's on every list.
He's
Come
on all
every
the
list.
Yeah, he's also probably invited to the RNC now. Steve, I have questions for you because you are a media. I love grilling media professionals.
All right.
I love grilling people. How long you been doing this for? It's a while, right? Because you're pretty.
First time I cracked a mic at a radio station, I think was 1987.
Wow.
So that was a while ago.
That was a
I was
cool
doing
year.
Solid Gold Saturday night. Yeah, and there was a tornado warning. I had to get on the air and warn people about the impending doom of a tornado.
You have a magical voice, and they heard your magical voice. Your that velvety Steve Gruber tone.
Why? Thank you.
Who's the worst guest you've ever had?
Oh, good Lord. Worst guest.
People, by the way, I love it when people refuse to answer this question.
No.
Oh, I know you.
What was his name? He was, gosh darn it, I just had him on. He went ape. Can I swear on here?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Please.
He went ape shit on me. He was with the Trump administration for 11 days. The guy from New York,
Scaramucci.
Yeah, that guy. The Mooch was on. He worst guest ever had. This guy was just insulting and condescending and out of control, and he was just, frankly, he was an asshole.
So he was himself.
Yeah.
So here's, by the way,
I'm surprised he made it 11 days. That's what I told him on the air when we got close to the end of the interview. I said, I can't believe you made it 11 days.
See, this is by the way what I think they would do. John O'Neill says Pam Bondi just said on Waters Primetime that the Epstein files will be released tomorrow. I feel like that's what they would do. Is like, oh, we meant the Epstein files are getting released. What are you talking about? You guys, you thought Epstein.
John Epstein.
Okay, here's some good names that people predict are on both lists. Jimmy Kimmel, LeBron, Timberlake. I totally forgot about this fella. Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. What about Bill Gates?
Ellen.
Those are good names.
Yeah, these are good.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like but I can't wait for the Epstein list when that comes out tomorrow. We're gonna get them.
You think do you really believe it's going to come out? Do you really believe it? Come on.
I feel like there's a Kamala joke in here. Like, we didn't mean tomorrow from today.
Yeah, we didn't mean, yeah,
we meant a future tomorrow of yesterday.
Yeah, we meant the one you missed it, and then and then our servers crashed, and then
there's the smell of bread. Yeah, the smell of bread.
Here's just like I don't know where it goes, but I don't know. I don't know if I buy it or not. So that's your worst guess. Scaramucci was the worst. You don't have like
he just passed by. He was more recent because I had him on, I don't know, maybe September, not too long before the election. You're a ridiculous guy, Gruber. You're just a ridiculous guy. He just going, I'm like, oh, why? Because I'm not buying your bullshit. I mean, come on, really?
Yeah. No, that's
I mean,
probably
that guy was he was awful, just awful.
I can only imagine like what some of these people, because I've had some really dumb members of Congress on. Like I've had I'll just say right now, Pat Fallon is hit or miss.
Remember when Swalwell would go on like every week with Hannity? Remember that?
Yeah.
And he would just get destroyed. And finally he stopped going because he would just get ground up and spit out like you're, a piece of meat in the wall. It was terrible. And he just showed how dumb he was again and again. There are some really remarkably dull, normal people in Congress. I don't even understand how they got there.
That's my question. I mean, so I don't understand, and I've gotten an interview. You've probably been through the ranks with them. I've probably interviewed 300 or so through my career. You probably have more than that.
I'm at least that. Yeah, I don't. I've been doing it for a long time. The show I've done, this radio program I've done for 14 years. But see, before that, I was doing, like I said, the hunting and fishing thing, making hunting and fishing adventure television all over the world. So I've only been more recently in this. Prior to that, the first candidate I ever met, I was a cub reporter out there in Montana, and I met Michael Dukakis. He was a short fella. That was the first real politician I met, and he was running for president at the time. Then he put on a helmet and drove a tank, and
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, again, I said the name already. Like, I have a lot. Like, I've had Pat Fallon on the radio where one day he didn't know where he was, and the next day I was like ready to go to war with him. Like, I mean, like in a good way. Like, I was like, let's go fight the Democrats, let's go, buddy. But like, they are so hit and miss. Who of all the members of Congress that you've interacted with, Gruber, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Because you used to do fun stuff. Now, how'd you get hooked into politics from, like, I would be traveling the world. Like, how'd you get this?
Well, first of all, traveling the world was great and I loved it, but I'd done that for 20 years. It was time for something different. And I kept getting a call from a guy who ran Cumulus here in the region. He said, hey, we've got this opening. I kind of like you. You should come. Anyhow, great guy. He kept calling me, and I said, dude, if you'll stop calling me, I'll do the job. But I don't think it'll work. Anyhow, it worked out. I didn't think it would. And so it's been going on for a while. And then we picked up a television deal, and we got this streaming thing. And now, I'm just trying to catch up with cool people like you on this whole, this social media.
I'm fortunate that I know how to turn the switches on for this thing.
Trust me.
I'm telling you, my high tech. Earlier. You've got a whole thing going. Like my high tech here. This is a Walmart TV behind me that I turned sideways and put on a mount for. Like this was a whole whopping $200 bucks. Nice. It looks like I know what I'm doing, but I got the most expensive piece of this whole equipment here. Is that Christy Yamaguchi collector's plate back there? That's what I'm really. That's my retirement.
Were you working on Ask Me Who one of the toughest interviews I ever did with the guy who wasn't dumb, but my God, was he just flat-footed? It was Carl Levin, who was a senator from Michigan. He was here forever. He's since passed away. He retired and since passed away, but he came on my program, and it was right after all this Obamacare stuff had been passed, and they were taxing tanning beds and all this stuff, right? You remember that whole list of taxes that were going on with all this crazy stuff and taxing tanning beds and different things. So I had him on the program, and I'm like, well, what about all these taxes? He goes, well, where are you getting all this from? I said, from the bill I have in my hand. It's all enumerated right here. He was just totally flummoxed, completely out of his league, and he kind of got mad. He never came back. Go figure, right? But I can't believe you're a member of the United States Senate. You've been there for 3 or 4 terms. You've just passed one of the most sweeping pieces of legislation in American history, and I'm going through the taxes that we're going to have to pay to cover this Affordable Care Act, which had nothing to do with affordability or care, but he doesn't know any of it. He knows none of it. And you're going, well, wait a second. This is like the senior member, the senior senator from Michigan, and he's the chair of this committee and that committee. He doesn't know anything about anything.
He doesn't know shit.
It was remarkably frightening.
I saw you holding back a swear there, Steve.
I
did. Man. Doesn't know shit.
shit.
Like I just like, yeah, no, I've had some good ones that have disappointed me, and I forget the guy's name. Do you remember the 83-year-old Allie? This will fall into your, because you were there when this happened. You remember the guy? He was on the congressional baseball team. He was an old fat guy from Texas, and he got caught sending dick pics at like 78 to a staffer and lost his job.
What?
Oh, that's nice.
Do you remember? Like he was like set. Like I was like, you know how to use a cell phone? You don't know elderly congressmen
from Texas.
I missed that one.
Can you Google dick pic?
Joe Barton.
I do remember that.
Ice cream.
I did like, and this guy was so cool. He was like the coolest member of Congress. Here's Joe Barton. He was 68.
But what about Hank Johnson? Isn't that his name? The guy from Georgia who says, is Guam going to tip over?
And then the time
like years ago, and they keep reelecting this guy.
The time he talked about he didn't want to say midget anymore, and so he said midget 17 times. Also, he sings his own campaign theme, right?
What?
I didn't know that. Hank Johnson does?
Folks, I had no plan on this show. I have 85 tabs open. We have somebody who does research for us, but like Hank Johnson campaign theme.
Oh my!
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm gonna pull this up. It's gonna be an ugly shot here because like I only have this is absolutely him singing his own song. This is the Hank Johnson campaign song. I need to download this for. Okay, let me get this turned up here.
I feel like this should be my ringtone now.
You ready? Here we go.
Do you want a congressman who represents your values, who understands what's
That's absolutely Hank Johnson, right?
It is
100%
important to you,
100%.
who cares about your security and your safety, someone who will take care of home first.
Someone who's able, someone who cares, someone who's willing, who'll always be there at the table, solving the problems for you and for me.
More than one.
Oh, I know the whole song. Hold on, we have to get to the chorus. I'm sorry this is like dragging, but it's very soulful, and I have 2 other experts here. This is absolutely Hank Johnson, right?
I believe that. I mean, I've never heard the man sing, but I would say that would be his voice.
Yeah. Hold on, here we go.
Strong reputation for taking the lead, a brand new direction, that's what we all need to be able to safety.
I know the song.
With all of the issues concerning our kids, we need strong representation. And things like our health care, our safety.
We're getting there. Hold on. Just
I
hang in
wonder
there.
how much campaign funds he spent on someone writing.
A ton. Hold on. We're about to get to the chorus.
And bad transportation.
Huge build.
Vote for Hank Johnson for Congress, 'cause he's just better than the rest. He's the answer, the solution for taking care of home.
I won't bother you anymore. But that is a 3-minute song.
You know, I could have spent my whole life without hearing it.
Jingles are expensive.
It's like-
It's a 3-minute jingle.
how much do you think? How much do you think he spent on that?
Oh, that's a 6-figure deal, I would guess. I mean, I haven't bought a jingle, but a 3-minute jingle to get a whole crew together, and I mean, the music is done professionally. It sounded like. I mean, that's an expensive. I mean, that's a lot of expenditure right there. But how does that guy get elected? Because he sings? I mean, come on. He thought Guam was going to tip over with too many soldiers on. I mean, come on.
He was sitting on the House committee when he did that. So House Armed Services
yeah.
Committee.
He was questioning an admiral or a general or something.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Well, you know, last night, Tiffany Henyard. Do you know anything about Tiffany Henyard?
Oh yeah, Dalton. Love Dalton, Illinois.
She lost her re-election campaign last night.
Look, it was close. She had 12% of the vote, pal.
I'm glad you were following that. Like, it's very hard for me to report on that because I
don't.
I
don't
love her. She's now officially lost though. But this one, I posted this yesterday. This was her. She had made a music video of herself. Let's pull this up. What is it? Do Republicans do this? Or is it a Democrat thing? I say Democrat because I'm not a racist.
Y'all ready for this?
That is, she absolutely wasted. I mean, she was the one, she was throwing parties. I can't watch any more of that. I already bothered you with Hank Johnson. By the way, Steve's messaging these people. Why the fuck am I here?
I am.
That's what he's texting right now. He's like, I used to travel the world when I used to do a travel show, and here I am with some fucking goof on the internet.
He's
right
making
now,
a
playing.
list like hobbies I can do in the evening.
I have a real, I have a career, and I'm here on this Tim Young bullshit. But no, like she has like 7 music videos or something. Like she was like the super mayor.
Oh yeah, and she spent a lot of money on nails and hair and transportation and clothes, man. But you know, man, they were. I don't know. I don't know the name of the guy that beat her last night.
Wasn't she?
They were celebrating, man. They were dancing in the aisles.
Also paying the police to remove citizens at the public hearing.
Yes, and hunt them down. So like if you spoke out against her, and like say you had like a public event scheduled, like there was one person had like a nice like one of those antique car shows where everybody like pulls up into a parking lot. The police moved barricades to barricade the parking lot so they couldn't have the event. I gotta give her credit. Like that shows where America is, that like, and the corruption level is that you think you can get away with that. Like I can't knock the hustle.
Yeah.
Is that the worst? Again, like I want to lean into your experience here. Like, is that the worst, most corrupt person you've seen in politics, or has there been a Republican that's gotten close?
Wasn't Duncan Hunter a Republican?
Yes.
Well, you had what was that? What were they? McCain was in it. He got off, but there's 6 or 8 of them that got in a bunch of trouble back, in the 90s. Taking money, and of course, if you go way back, there are lots of Republicans that were taking money.
Was Duncan Hunter the one who made his office look like the like Downton Abbey or something?
I do have a funny story about that. Once that, I feel so bad for intern number 2 and 3, because when you looked through his expenditure accounts, when he was taking them to the first intern sort of was at a nicer hotel, and then by the time
wait a second, are we talking about Duncan Hunter or Bill Clinton?
Duncan Hunter, by the time the 3rd or 4th intern was in there, it was like, hour $59. I felt so bad. But there was a staffer there, and she had just gotten hired, and she said, "Oh, it's just crazy because my office is across from Duncan." And I was like, "Oh, I bet you there's a ton of media. That does have to be crazy." And she was like, "Media?" I meant Dunkin' Donuts. I was like, oh, never mind. So,
yeah, no, that was probably the most corrupt of the entire. I mean, I don't think we've really scratched the surface of what Lindsey Graham's had his hand in.
There's a piece of work.
I mean, the best movie.
But what about, hold on. I mean, more recently, Gold Bar Bob. Come on. This guy has his suit coat stuffed with gold bars. And he's like, oh, you know, that's the way we do it where I come from. Really? You stuff gold bars in your suit, Bob. Really? That's the way you do it where you come from.
But
No
he's
kidding.
Right?
Yeah, but I used to remember, Steve, do you spend a lot of time in DC?
Fair amount, yeah.
So he used to be the Ruth's Chris that's closest to the White House.
Yeah.
He would be in like the corner. Is it the Ruth's Chris or no? Or the Morton's? Sorry, Morton's.
All right.
You know, if you're gonna be a mob boss or you're gonna be like a criminal, don't look like one.
Yeah.
And Menendez, he used to sit in the corner and smoke cigars with like his like pack of like thugs that all look like they were like literally look like Big Boss from like some sort of like old timey like Dick Tracy movie in the corner.
Yeah.
Like you can't give off the air. Like if you're gonna be a criminal, you gotta be cool about it. Like Duncan Hunter.
Well, okay, but what I mean, more
The rabbit was what got him.
Come on, he looks like a thug. But the Biden family, come on, man. Come on, man. They got millions coming in.
He was pardoning members of the family I didn't even know existed. Like when he just put out that blanket pardon, I'm like, who?
Yeah. The problem is there's a whole bunch of people going, wait a second, where's mine? And they didn't get them because look, Pam Bondi, I think, is on a mission here. I think Cash Patel's on a mission. There's a whole lot of people that should be a little bit nervous about where all that money was flowing. And remember Tony Bobolinsky, he came out and said, hey, here's the deal. In the mainstream media, oh no, he's a crackpot, he's a conspiracy theorist. Man, he had dialed in. He was right then, he's right now. He said, here are the players. Boom, 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 connect the dots. That's what you got. And it's worse than I even imagined. There's a lot more money.
Cassie Hutchinson, I would be so mad. I perjured myself. I destroyed my entire future career.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. She said that he jumped over the seat to grab the wheel. If he's in the place, there's no way to jump over the damn seat to grab the wheel. It was such a bullshit story. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Who throws a perfectly good steak with ketchup on it against the wall? This is ridiculous.
Also, she's got a Wikipedia page and I don't. You know, somebody dumped my.
Do you want me to start a Wikipedia page for you?
Please do, because I had one at one point, and during COVID, somebody said I wasn't significant enough. They put in the thing. Yeah, right. I took that hurt. There she is. Look at that. Look at that star. What a.
Okay, wait. You know, there is some. We forgot one Republican who's fairly corrupt and just weird. Santos. I mean, who is this guy?
I like Santos. You know why I like Santos? In order to be that good of a liar and get away with the bullshit he got. I mean, because Steve, he got away with lies that was just like. Also, he got. Well, I don't know what his district is. Do you remember? Do you guys know his district?
It's there on Long Island, right? It's there somewhere. But
who's paying attention? Like, was no one paying attention?
These people. I mean, you go to the local convention. Hey, I'll run. All right, that dude. Yeah, I've done this and this now. Oh yeah, you're in, man. Have you seen this guy's resume? He's awesome. I mean, does anybody check?
He's that guy. Like, I give him credit. I mean, I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him.
But here's the part sorry to interrupt you, but the Republicans, you know, Democrats will stand behind everybody. They won't censure, they won't remove, they won't vote against anyone.
100%.
And a Republican does something and all of a sudden we're, you know, going to have moral high ground and throw them out. We lost votes over that.
I actually was really upset. I was really upset that they threw him out of Congress. And I know, like, it's weird to say, like, I know he's a scumbag.
She's right. Yeah. Democrats would have never tossed him. Anyhow, go on.
You have a woman who ran an immigration scheme by marrying her brother, at least falsifying documents that said she was married to her brother, who they have allowed to continue to sit there. If that was a Republican, we would have gotten rid of her.
Who has on speeches said that she will always side with
Somalia.
Yes.
But yeah, well,
before anything. But George can't buy an outfit at Hermes and go to work on campaign.
Do you guys remember?
Awesome.
Do you remember back when she was running for maybe the second time for her first reelection, and there was a social media video going around. This guy inside his car doing, you know, these videos that are a lot more common, and he had stacks of ballots on his dash of his car. He had ballots everywhere, and he was bragging about how he was taking those in for her because they would go to these buildings in Minneapolis that are all occupied by Somalis, right, from different age, and they would just go and knock on the door. Yeah, we're here to get your ballot. Well, I don't want to get you the ballot. It's not really optional. You're going to give us your ballot, and we're going to. And he's got this car full of them. I mean, he was bragging about cheating. Does anything ever happen? No, but you're right. The Democrats never throw anybody out. And he was bragging about this guy. I don't know who he was, right?
Matt was on a Facebook Live right after I started working for him for a couple months. And he
are we allowed to say that now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she worked for Matt Gaetz. She was like okay. I wasn't sure.
I love Matt.
I wasn't sure, like.
Friends. Oh, sorry.
No. I kept that quiet. No, you were like a pro with him. All right. Yeah.
He had just gotten there and he went down to check Broward County in Florida. And it was disgusting. He's on a Facebook Live. I'm going to come here and check what's wrong with the elections. And on the live, it's like, are your guns drawn? I'm a United States congressman. I'm allowed to be here. And they're like, you have to leave. Guns drawn.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
Who
and he was
said that?
it was Matt Gaetz, 2018, before the election when we were, I believe it was Senator Scott's first election for Senate.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken. And so it went to a recount and Broward was being Broward.
I have a question for you guys. Here's a poll question for today for you two. This is critical. Who's more likely to remove their head covering first? Ilhan Omar or Tim Pool? They both have the same hairline. That's the issue.
I thought their hair was sacred. I thought their hair was sacred. I would say Omar.
Yeah. Well, she's married. Isn't she married to a white guy that she threw a bunch of campaign funding to?
Isn't he a ginger too?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. Maybe the hair covering should be Jamie Raskin.
Well, what he was doing, dude, he was dressed like Prison Mike from. Remember when Michael Scott came in with the do-rag on? The worst part of the prison is the Dementors. Like that's what he really like. He had to know. Do you think their staffers again? And I think there's a lot of cult of personality in Congress and in politics in general. Do staffers actually like? And Matt Gaetz, I don't think you had as many problems with Matt Gaetz as a lot of people had with. You probably had no problems with him actually.
No, he was exceptional.
Yeah. Do you think staffers tell their bosses like, "Hey, maybe don't go with the purple do-rag. You look like Prison Mike"?
I wish more would.
Do you think like what's it like when you work for like Ilhan Omar? You never hear from these staffers or like Jasmine Crockett. Are they happy to work for Jasmine Crockett?
I'd be proud.
Her headpiece would be crooked in the middle of judiciary hearing. Somebody needs Helen to straighten it up.
She is. I can't believe she's Dallas.
She's a prize. I mean, I was listening to her today. I mean, they're screaming about Doge. As if, okay, so we're spending money on circumcisions in Mozambique as if that's a good idea. I mean, come on,
the Schumer line, which was they're taking a meat axe to it. And it's like, what?
Apparently.
Like, no.
Did he mean
I've read that.
Yeah.
It's a meat axe.
I don't know. I don't know what a meat axe is. I have no idea.
I've never thought in my life that I would have people argue about auditing the money that you're putting in.
Well, okay, what's worse? What's worse? That they're arguing over the money being put in, or they're saying, I will not write down the things I did last week. I mean, it's called having a boss. I mean, how weird. I could write down 10 things I did yesterday, and so could everybody that works here. You know why? Because they're good employees. And I just anybody who refuses to answer that didn't do shit last week. That's the problem.
Steve's got child slaves that work for him there at the.
Yeah, midgets.
He calls them interns.
He called them midgets.
Little fellers.
I just we're like in like bizarro world right now, and I don't think anybody knows how to react now that Trump is actually moving on things. I really do like if it was any other generation, I'd be bothered that Elon Musk was at every meeting, but I love that he's at every meeting.
Doesn't bother me. Okay, so they are whacked. Here's my term of the week. I know you've heard this. There's no way you could avoid this. Because Hallmark has to change all their cars to inseminated person. You can't be a mother anymore.
Elon tweeted that. He said,
"Thank you to the governor of Wisconsin. Nice job."
Isn't it? I have a question about that because isn't it misogynist to call them an inseminated person because you're taking the motherhood and the persona away from the woman and you're saying you're just a person who a dude put it in.
That's right. That's exactly right. They're reducing women to nothing more than, the carrier of the seed or whatever. But doesn't that make men the inseminators? I mean,
We need that.
Steve, have you ever? I know that you're a very serious man. Have you ever thought about doing just like quotes like that? Like you should do like voiceovers for like funny stuff. I'm gonna bother you if I ever start like animating things and like doing.
I'm here for you, man. I'm here. Yeah.
Because you have a
the inseminators and like cartoon. You have a superhero. He'll have like
he could do
that.
Brother, you could be Optimus Prime. You could do the Optimus Prime voice.
We could sell them as text message tones so that your baby daddy, when they text, I want him.
Oh my God. Break up messages from Steve. We'll just have him record that's what we'll do. Hey, Jennifer, it's not working out.
Hey, Jennifer, I'm real sorry, but there'll be no more insemination. We're done.
This is the Gruber I wanted out of this show. It took us 42 minutes to get to him.
You got it.
After he had to yell at some staff around there, rattle some rakes.
Look, we do serious news, but you know what part of the problem is? You know why people like at CNN and Chicken Noodle News there on MSNBC? One of the reasons they suck, they have no sense of humor.
None.
These people don't laugh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
No.
Also, Trump is very hard to make fun of because he makes fun of himself, and I think that's really thrown off a lot of that's why all of the late night hosts seem very angry.
He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Trump. First time Ivy and I were in the Oval Office with him back in 2000.
No bragging.
Right? But it was cool. Very cool experience. But so he's got all this going on. He's waiting, and all of them they're trying to yank me out of there after about 10 minutes, and he's talking and telling stories. I said, hey, said something. He says, oh, I got to show you guys something. He jumps up from the desk and he runs. If you're looking at the desk, he runs to the right, the little hallway there into the swag room. And of course, I'm with my wife. And so he gives her a giant silver plate. He gives me like some little trinket anyhow. And thanks, boss. And he's talking about some different stuff. It was the day that Vindman testified, not the one that's in Congress now, but his brother, right? Anyhow,
my twin brother.
Who is this Vindman guy? And I said, dude, Ivy's reminded me of this 100 times. You called the president, dude. I said, well, we were having a conversation. It was just the three of us in this little room. But later you do the math on it. The room was the Monica Lewinsky room. That was the room we were standing in. And you're thinking, I was in the Monica Lewinsky room. I hope they cleaned the carpets.
I bet a lot worse happened with JFK in there.
Well, potentially, but they changed the carpets. I mean, he was a machine. I mean, I was just reading some book about the women destroyed by Kennedy or something. I was actually in a bookstore in Georgetown.
Wrecked by Kennedy.
Yeah, wrecked by Kennedys. I think that might be what it's called. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. Listen, all I know is I got this. That's all I know about Kennedy.
The Kennedy inseminators. No, I don't remember what
it's
called.
That's a sick joke. That's terrible.
But there is a ton of books on it because that guy he said, what was his famous quote? I have to have sex every 3 days or else I get a migraine.
I get that.
But it wasn't. It was like a sex with a different woman or something. It wasn't like a good.
That's his defense for having SA.
No, there were some really tawdry stories. I sat there at that bookstore we were in here. I don't know, a month ago, maybe less, whatever. And I'm reading. It's this woman from the typing pool that the president's coming up to go swimming, and then they would be left alone, and this went on for a while, and all of a sudden she didn't get invited up anymore, and somebody else from this typing pool got invited up, and there you go. Yeah. You always heard about the affairs. You're pretty, Marilyn Monroe, whatever it is, you hear about these things. But in this particular case, it's people you've never heard of who were 19 years old or 20 years old and all this, not particularly good stories. I have daughters. I thought it was pretty ugly, frankly, right?
Yeah. He's like by modern standards, he's disgusting. I mean, by like everyone should have canceled him at some point back, but he's a cool guy back in the day.
No wonder Clinton was upset about his opinion.
Well, it was secret back then. I mean, we didn't have these things. I mean, you didn't have everything documented every step of the way, right? When you had big brawls in Walmart back then, you didn't get to see it in 30 seconds.
Wow.
Of course, you didn't have brawls in Walmart back then, but you understand my point.
Yeah. Wow.
That's probably also why the Democrats were shocked about the staffer in the Senate committee.
Oh, God.
I was having a pretty good night till I had to have that revisited.
I just remember, that flashback, the angle just flashback on was that the Ways and Means Committee?
The Ways and Means?
I don't know what committee room was it in. was Ways and Means.
Weights and balances.
How do I Google that? It's going to throw off my algorithm.
Weights and measures. I'm not sure.
I don't know. There's so much I want to talk about that I can't mention, but I have a couple of good stories about things that I'm not allowed to talk about, and it's
come on.
No, I can't. I just yeah. there are a couple of good ones I got to tell you about at some point, but because I know some cool. Trump is just a very cool. Like him going in and grabbing the stuff and like just giving your wife like a silver tray and like you like he's like that.
Yeah.
Like
here's your wife's beautiful. Here, have this. Here's this for you. Get out of here.
The thing about him is he knows the weight and more so now of what his position is and his place in American history, but he's still like a cool kid about it. Like he's still amused by it the way that I would be amused going through the White House. And it's awesome. Because he's just a normal guy. Like, I mean, like, wow, I'm here doing this. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And I think that hits him once in a while. But I think after he got shot, the whole game changed and he's turned into a much more serious person. Also, he had 4 years to sit and stew and have this plan ready to go. And it's working.
I totally agree with you on that. You know, he, I mean, you go back to Scaramucci or some of these other clowns that were in the first, you know, Rex Tillerson and some of these other idiots or the women that came in there. What's this woman on The View? Farrah, whatever her name is.
Alyssa Farrah, who, by the way, real quick, Steve, she was in the vice president's office. She was the head of comms for Pence, and you wonder, like, it's like, hey, I wonder who the leakers were. Like the entire vice presidential office.
Pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Pretty damn obvious. But all these people showed up, and they're there to write books, right? They come in, they do and they go write some tell-all book. Oh, he did this and that. And it's all bullshit. But he went through that because he was a New York guy that went to D.C. He didn't know who to trust. He trusted some people, but didn't. And he just got a whole parade of dipshits that didn't know what they're doing, that were there to take advantage of him, didn't agree with what he was doing, stabbed him in the back. So then he gets to the election day, which I think he probably won, except for mail-in ballots. But that's my belief about it. I think mail-in ballots sank him in places like Michigan, where I am, because they sent out millions of them. But then he takes 4 years, and he sits there, and he games it. Because you look at right now, I think he's got 18 of the 22 members of his cabinet are seated. They had their first meeting today. At this point, Joe Biden had 7, right? He's moving at light speed. He came in with a team that is gifted and ready. And the reason that they're so hateful of Doge is because these kids are so, bear in mind, these Democrats that are bitching about 19-year-olds, you know, auditing where we're spending money, want 16-year-olds to vote.
Yes.
Hello, you want 16-year-olds to vote, but 19-year-olds that are masters at coding and all of this aren't good enough to come through and look at the numbers? Of course they are. Plus, it was Barack Obama that created this very department. People don't realize the United States Digital Service was created in 2012, I think it was, maybe 2014. And it was to create a patch, if you will, to make Obamacare work better. So it's a funded program that's been there for a decade or more. And they just changed it to the United States Doge Service, kept the acronym. The funding's there. It was created by Congress. You can't get rid of it. If Trump had come in and created that thing by himself, there'd be a problem. You can't do that. But it was an existing thing created by Barack Obama. So thank you, Mr. Obama, for giving us a path to finding where all the money is being squandered. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, he did something right. That and brown suits.
Yeah,
I have a question for you because, and this can go to Allie too, because Allie, you've been a comms person for a very long time, I believe. That's what you did. What did you do for Matt Gaetz? Everything?
Everything.
Yeah. Now that we've got this, Trump is picking up media people for his team. You got Bongino, you got Gorka, you got Graham Allen. I'm sure he's not going to be finished with that. What's that do for conservative media right now? Because doesn't that tank the business model for a couple of people, especially Bongino? Like whatever networks he's on, that's like curtains for them, right?
Westwood won.
Yeah, like what are they doing? Are they scrambling right now? Because it's over, right? Does he need to be confirmed?
He's not leaving. Hold on, he's not leaving until like there's an end date, like March 15th, whatever Friday is of that week.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's got to put a hole in your entire business model, right? Because I mean, he's a mega $1 million property for them.
I think what we have to worry about too is a bunch of grifters coming up, trying to take those spots more than normal. No, you should take the spot.
I'm never gonna. They'll never.
Hold on. What do you mean by that? I'm just clarify the question. Grifters coming in to go into the White House, or grifters to take over Bongino's airtime?
She means Benny Johnson.
I didn't hear her. Because I'm happy to take any radio station. And if you're a
Yeah.
radio person right now and you need a show, I'm your guy.
Yeah. No,
we
I
can hook it up
agree.
right today.
That voice, that velvety.
We can hook it up today. You know, my mother told me my mouth was going to get me in big trouble. She was
Mine
right
too.
about that. She was right about that. Yeah. She just never realized, yours or mine, that it was going to pay the bills. Right. They
Same
didn't get
advice Monica Lewinsky's mom told her, and nobody listens. I just think like they got to be scrambling right now. Like I don't know, like because I think the replacement. God bless him. I think the replacement for Rush Limbaugh was you just can't replace him. And they tried to do it, and it turned into like a business deal. And I don't dislike the guys that took his place. It's just like it didn't do it. It didn't cut it. And I don't think we have a deep bench in media.
Look, it's pretty. I don't care who the superstar is. You come in after Rush Limbaugh, you're not filling those shoes. I don't care who.
No,
you're not. And people can be disappointed. Well, it's not Rush. You come in as you're a superstar basketball player, football coach, whatever shoes you're filling. That's a legend. Good luck with that.
Hold on. There's one. I think Joe Montana to Steve Young is probably the only time.
I was going to give that example, and I said, but that's one time, right? And that it was Steve Young won 2, I think, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. The Steelers won 6, so
nobody cares. Nobody cares about football here. That was just a sports reference because we were talking about a star replacing a star. Steelers had Brett Favre, and then who?
We didn't have Brett Favre. That's Green Bay.
Oh, sorry. They had Roethlisberger, who got
Brett Favre. Rodgers came along.
They're all the same. Yeah. But they had the Steelers. I don't care about the Steelers. Obviously, I don't.
That's okay.
Don't care about sports. Thanks for that.
You don't? Not
What
at
was
all?
your reference? I was just playing off of it.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I don't.
Yeah.
Again, it was a star for a star. You never replaced Macho Man Randy Savage, who I have a pile of action figures behind you over there in WWE. Once you went, what I just don't, I look at it and it's going to be very interesting to see where things go. I just don't. I mean, I think we're going to clean up the government. I think that'll be fine. I think I don't think we have James Carville out there saying that everything's going to collapse in 30 days. That's not going to happen.
No, he's full of shit. Look, this is the same guy that said that he said Kamala's going to win. Look, Skeletor there needs to take a break, all right, and eat a sandwich.
He really. I mean, how old is he? I mean, we forget that he was like Clinton's guy in like 91.
Has anybody heard
He's
from
about
his
80.
Republican wife?
No, she's dead.
Yes, he does. He has a very conservative wife. So he did.
Is it Mary Madeline? Who was
Yeah.
So
But we
here's
have
the
not
thing.
heard.
So let me ask you guys this.
Yeah.
Speaking of Doge and all this money cuts, because Musk came out and said, all right, Doge dividend. So I got a poll up on my Twitter page. Don't forget to follow. Anyhow, I got a poll over on my Twitter
That's
page.
right.
Yeah. Do you want a Doge dividend, or do you think it should go back to pay off the debt? Do you not care, or do you think we should use it to prosecute Hillary? That's the
Hold on, I'll
question
pull it up right now. Let's see, because I will vote live right now on this, Steve.
There you go.
Do I? Yes, send me the money. No, pay down the debt. I'm gonna. Oh man.
Read answer number 4. What
I like 4. Use the money to prosecute Hillary, Schiff, Cheney, and the rest. I went with 4.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
I think so. It's tied. It's basically tied here with yes, send me the money, or no, and use the money to, which I would put as no, use it for something better.
And the same thing. I went through the comments. It's pretty evenly divided, because a lot of people are like, wait a second, Trump said we're going to get rid of the debt. We're going to do that. But other people are like, wait a second, we're only talking about 20% back to the folks. And tax cuts really would mean the same thing, money back to the folks. I'm kind of split on this too. What do you guys think? Would you take it? Well, the way I look at the money, if you saved $500 billion, it'd be worth about $600 per person that pays taxes, I think. My math could be a little iffy on this. I'm sure the people on the chat here will correct me on that. Elon had said $5,000, but that's only if you got to $2 trillion in savings and use 20% of that and you had a family of 4. That's the only way you get to $5,000. So I think it's a few $100s. Do you want to check for $600, $800, or should it stay in there?
I don't want any of the money. I don't need it. Number one, I think it could help. I think you reform the tax code and you lower taxes.
I agree with that. Do you like the flat tax?
I like flat tax. I do.
Me too.
But then again, like you and I and Allie over there, we're in a different socioeconomic situation than a lot of people. I've taken up an issue now recently about and I'm a sellout, so I've taken up an issue where They're considering now taking soda and soft drinks out of like SNAP programs, and I have a problem with that because you all of us, we obviously, you got your Pellegrino over there, Mr. Bougie,
Very bougie.
and I got my $7 coffee here.
Right.
But like if I got a buddy who lives in Pisgah, Alabama. He actually makes all the costumes for WWE. He's like a costumer. It's really kind of cool actually. All the stuff at WrestleMania that you see is my buddy with his shed in Pisgah, Alabama. It's amazing that it all comes from there. But their only grocery store in town in Pisgah on top of this plateau in Alabama is a Dollar General. And so, there are a few few factors in play here, including like, should people who are on welfare, have the opportunity to enjoy a soft drink once in a while? Yeah. Do we look down on them and say you should only drink water and have, clean meat or whatever, and you can't have any kind of stuff? Like there are levels to that.
Wasn't it now Ambassador Huckabee, former governor, when he was running for president? Didn't he try to do like almost like a sliding scale of food stamps? If you ate healthy, you got more money.
Yeah.
Because that was always a complaint that you couldn't afford it. But now you can't afford the chips and the soda.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. It costs more money to eat healthy, right? It does. Because if you stay on the outside walls of the supermarket, you get the butcher shop, the fresh vegetables, the bakery, and the dairy, right? Then you go to the middle where you've got all this prepackaged stuff, the stuff that is terrible for you, that Bobby Kennedy, among others, say this is garbage, because it is. It's full of chemicals and stuff that's illegal in a whole bunch of countries in Europe and so forth. So to eat healthy, you got to stay on the outside four walls. Look, you're going to get more money, more bang for your buck to put food in somebody's belly. If you got a house full of kids and you're on the SNAP program, you need Hamburger Helper. Well, Hamburger Helper, I haven't looked at a box of Hamburger Helper. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it's probably full of a bunch of stuff you probably wouldn't eat if you didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
But some
to your point, if they want a soft drink to wash down the Hamburger Helper, who am I?
Well, it's the same thing. I used to have Manwich as a kid. Love that. You ever have Manwich?
Oh, yeah.
Can of junk. You put on some junky meat and it tastes great.
Yeah, exactly.
What were you saying, Allie?
I've been a relatively healthy eater, so no.
Shut the fuck
I've never had Manwich.
What?
I've never had Manwich.
What?
I don't even know what it is.
Where did you grow up? Did you grow up with money? Be
No.
honest here.
No.
I grew up in the hood, Baltimore, and like we had like nothing. And so Manwich was like, I didn't realize how poor we were. I write about this in my book that no one read. I didn't realize how poor we were until I realized later on that we were, we'd get food from church. We'd get the food pantry church food. And I never realized, I just thought it was a thing everybody did.
Yeah.
So that's sweet. Though that's sweet.
Yeah. But yeah.
Did you read Hillbilly Elegy by JD?
I watched the movie and I'm watching.
Not the same.
No.
So he the audiobook version, he reads it, right? It's freaking fantastic. Anybody who has not listened to J.D. Vance deliver this book, there's so much more in the book that would peel your skin back. Like the day he comes home and asks Mama about himself being gay, and she explains how and why he's not. I'm not even going to go there on this program because that's even a bit much for this. But it's remarkable. But what I was going to say, it's him and Kevin Roberts, the president of the Heritage Foundation, just released a book, At Dawn's Early Light. Same sort of thing. Kevin Roberts grew up really poor in Louisiana, and JD between Ohio and Kentucky. Look, I grew up in very similar places. I knew these same people. I mean, I did. I knew these people when in the 1970s into the early 80s, outside of Lansing, Michigan, all the car factories were closing. People were losing everything. Everything. I mean, some of my friends' parents lost both jobs. I mean, they were screwed. Cars went away, houses went away, food went away. I mean, that's what we had when Jimmy Carter was president of this country. And Ronald Reagan, thank God, showed up at the right time to save us. But, I identify with that dirt poor deal. I mean, I wasn't privileged like Allie, apparently. I'm not saying.
Neither one of us were. There, What was she doing? She was out there, would you have steaks all the time? You just have filet mignon?
No, my mother was a daughter of a legal immigrant, and
that's not part of the story. This is what you're
She's
avoiding.
A nurse and my
you're
father's
avoiding. Hold on. By the way, hold
counselor.
on. You just pulled the comma thing. I grew up in a middle class family. My mother was the daughter of a legal immigrant. That's not the question.
That's
We asked you if you grew up privileged or not with fancy food, and the answer is yes.
Sorry, Mom.
Right, Mom.
By the way, this is we're gonna circle back around since it's been an hour. I can let you guys go, but
So I got a question though. So, have you ever eaten Spam, Allie?
I've heard of Spam. I haven't eaten it.
Get out. I'm so over it right now.
I'm emotionally hurt.
I'm like,
Be
I've
honest,
heard of it.
I've heard of it. I've never eaten it.
Heard of it. Here's, by the way, hey, you've met? You were
I love
in Florida.
Keyboard Warrior though. Follow me on Twitter.
You by the way have you worked with Florida. You've met Pam Bondi.
I have. She's exceptional.
Has she found like the Lazarus Pit or like the yeah, that's what they have in Batman to keep people young. Or like the Fountain of Youth. Why does she not age?
She's gorgeous because she's sweet.
Is that what it is? Because she doesn't drink like us. All right. Here's by the way.
I look old?
This is my loop around before I let Steve get out of here because he's texting people now. He's like, I'm coming. I'm almost done with this bullshit.
I'm good. Whatever you want.
Here she is on Jesse Waters Primetime. Both of these guys. I mean, if she tanned the way Jesse Waters did, she wouldn't look young. I tell you that.
Bronzer.
Is it bronzer?
I think.
Oh, he's very bronze. He looks like, and I have no problems with Jesse Waters. I like him.
Jesse.
He does look like a Muppet.
A lot of people are wondering.
You know who else looks like a Muppet? You know who else looks like a Muppet to me? It is the eyebrows. Speaker Johnson. Mike Johnson looks like a little puppet. And especially when he's like behind people and like that, he's always like kind of coming up behind people in pictures for a while.
A lot of people are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk. When can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah, what you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information, but it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay, well, we'll
along
look
with
for
his
that.
co-defendant.
Absolutely, and he had help.
Okay.
There's a lot of private jets that need to be grounded tonight because they're all going to take off. There's some people's names that popped into my head that I'm thinking that planes need grounded before they're taken off.
Oh, Steve, that's something I guarantee Allie's never had. I'm sorry to take all. You did it. You did it to me, Steve, by commenting there.
All right.
You know how you can tell if you're poor or not? Miracle Whip.
Exactly.
You ever had Miracle Whip? I bet you have.
Bologna and Miracle Whip.
I'm like,
Not bologna. I mean, I've eaten bologna, but not with Miracle Whip.
She's heard of it.
You ever have brown swagger?
No, what is that?
Oh, good God. I've forgotten about that stuff.
I don't even know what it is.
It's I don't.
Braunschweiger.
I'm not quite sure what it is either, but it comes wrapped.
It's mystery meat. I think they just tip the animal face first into the grinder and it comes out. What is that? Oh, it's Braunschweiger.
The only thing that I never got used to in Maryland, being a poor and being from Maryland, is scrapple.
That one I don't know.
Scrapple is disgusting. Like I don't know how to. I don't even know how. Coco's mom knows. Coco's mom just waited and said, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tim, it's awesome.
Tang is another one. Yeah.
Oh, I did know Tang.
Miracle Whip Tang.
Didn't they pull it off the market though? Tang.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it went to the Boone, right? Didn't Tang go to that? Wasn't that the claim?
Correct.
That's probably why.
Tang was. It's maybe. Yeah. I have nothing there. I was going to say something. All right. Listen, it's been an hour. I'm really glad that it's
over?
been. It's over now, Steve. This is how we end shows, Steve. We don't have any kind of a
little emotional. Okay, go ahead.
Allie, you contributed very little. Here, I just want to point that out for coming to my home. You did very little in this. And so we've got a fantastic, we brought on, well, I think you're one of the best, Steve, by the way. And I say that not just because you booked me, but because I have actually watched your show.
I appreciate that.
And you're listenable and watchable. And I can't say that about a lot of other, what?
Keyboard Warrior said tags from space. We got it in the reverse. We thought we sent it to space.
It actually came from space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think like I've seen a lot of conservative media through the years, and I think you're one of the best. And Allie, who's the worst that you think you've seen it other than me? Who's like the worst in conservative media?
Oh no, I think that you're going to move into Bongino's spot.
I'm not taking Bongino's spot.
I'm
not getting that call.
Who do I have to call to make that call?
You figure it out. Steve Gruber wants that spot. You can't just give it to me.
I'll give it to Steve.
We're going to fight. There's going to be one pole cue. They're going to put us in a room. They're going to snap a pole cue
Your
like a
friend
Joker.
should make a WWE outfit for both of you, and should put you in a ring. And
I have one.
We could do it together.
I have a Macho Man Randy Savage, the American flag jacket downstairs. I'll show you.
No, I feel like it should be like Tim Young on the back.
Yeah, it says Young instead of Macho Man.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not. Enough of that. Listen, we've wasted. This man he's a real star. Is Steve Gruber? What do you got there, Steve?
I've got a note from the principal, from my son, who just handed me the note. Would you like to know what it says?
Yes.
Yes.
You're going to be shocked by what he's in trouble for. Blurting and lack of respect for class rules. I find that hard to believe. Blurting and a lack of respect for the rules in class.
How old is he?
Perfect.
12. Yeah.
Good for him.
Tell him, job well done.
Yeah, job well done. Does he collect Pokemon cards? I have a problem with Pokemon cards right now.
Do you collect Pokemon cards? He used to, not so much.
Well, if he still got them, Steve, that's going to pay for your next house. I found one in my garage that's worth $7,000.
You did not.
I did.
Seriously?
Yeah.
He found one in his garage for $7,000. Why does it smell like perfume? What? $7,000 Pokemon card. But why does it smell like perfume? The music teacher gave it to me.
Oh, I bet she did. That's a problem. I've been watching a lot of Dateline. You might want to look into. You might want to look into the music teacher.
Epstein client list.
Is she one of those? Is she blonde? Is she like a fit blonde? Because they're the ones. That's actually the demo for the ones that do
That's it. I'm calling Chris Hansen right now.
You'd be a really good. He's got the Chris Hansen voice too.
Now you want me to sign? Hold on. I'll sign when I'm done here. Good Lord, these kids.
I think they're just trying to get your autograph.
There. I'm on with Tim and Allie. Right here.
He doesn't know.
There it is. There we are.
He doesn't give a shit who we are.
He does not give a shit.
Yeah, and that's good.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why can't I see myself?
You can't see yourself because you're not famous.
You're
not famous enough to be on the stream.
Next time.
Yeah, next time we'll have on the. We don't put 12-year-olds on this.
Well, he said I didn't do a good job, so he might be taking my.
Yeah, you're gonna.
spot.
Well, Allie's never coming back, so we can just put him in here instead of that.
Allie was great. Come on now, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna have grilled spam sandwiches live.
I'm in.
I'm allergic to wheat.
Toast.
With Miracle Whip.
No,
I'm sure I could eat it, but
yeah. Anyway, this is just ridiculous. All right, I got lots of conversation to have with Allie after this. We're going out to dinner now, and I got lots of things to share with the team. Steve, you're always a delight. Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for being here, and I'll have you back anytime. Anytime you're bored.
What's that?
Anytime you're bored, you're welcome on here, Steve.
Greatly appreciate that. I'll do that. I don't know how often. How often do you do this? I don't know.
Every night. I do Sunday through Thursday at 8:00 Eastern until I get tired of it, and then I take a night off.
Then you go. You can come back anytime. And if folks want to see what I'm up to, they can find me on all the usual places.
Steve, I've got you tagged in the thing, and they better be following you off of it.
There it is. Follow me. We're growing. Tim, thank you. Allie, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thanks for
My
being
pleasure.
here, sir. And I will see you all soon. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching it. Go do Kalshi and Veebs. I'm not doing a promo for them tonight. I've already talked enough about them today. It's fine. They're happy. They're happy sponsors. Goodbye, everyone.